peace. I have a perspective. As I am going through, like, unwinding my ways of being, I observe, like, in a way of communication, in a way of love, relationships, connections, like, do we realize that sometimes when we don't know our worth and we don't really understand the energy of love, this is perspective, you know, for myself, and because it's been over sexualized, and like sometimes if someone gives you attention, it feels good, and sometimes you can get stuck in that very moment because in that moment it made you feel good, and knowing how you know your worth, or like what the energy of love really is do you find yourself either like getting attached to that moment, and that moment makes you feel better because you know you don't really know your worth, or do you find that there are loving, kind people out there that make you feel good, but it doesn't mean they have to be sexualized. Like, anyway now, like, everyone's very much opened about their sexuality. If man likes a man, woman, man, woman, whatever. But, like, on my journey, and, like, I can use my example of relationships, like, initially I had a lot of codependency, self-worth issues, insecurities, so in order for me to like be in a relationship with someone else, like, it was harder for me just to be myself around other people, because I love to talk to people, because the other person might got insecure, and vice versa. Like, I'd be like, why are you talking to that person? Like, programming the way I felt, my insecurities. But now, like, when I'm looking at it now, like, I'm saying like a lot. Let's say if you observe people like in the movies, and actors and actresses, sometimes they end up hooking up because they're so in close quarters together that they grow a bond. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong if like they're in a relationship. Some might get mad because it's their integrity and that's not who they are, and they might feel this, you know, push, and then some end up meeting and falling for each other no matter which role. And in life, walking through life, do you see that sometimes people can be obsessed with certain people, situations, etc., because that made them feel worth something because they were seen, and then they get stuck on it. And this kind of sounds a round way, but it goes together, because I'll just give the example. I've never been in a relationship where we were like two like holes, where we are both confident that what our relationship was, and being people that, you know, maybe work with other people and like to talk to people and just like to spread love, or whatever way you want to look at it, to know that that isn't going to turn into a like cheating, like sexual thoughts, etc., because understanding like really that is what love is, if you get what I'm saying. Oops, that's messed up, but I don't know if you get me, because I just know, in a way, my inner reflection of myself in relationships, I was so insecure. And I always thought I wanted to be with somebody that was comfortable with me talking to people, because it wasn't me hitting on people and wanting to be with them. It was just me being me. And I obviously can like look inward and see that I would be insecure about them, so I would get what I gave. So I feel like I'm like got rid of that point of over sexualizing and what love means and what self-worth means. And now that I know I only control myself, make myself happy, I'm on my best friend here, that I know it'd be different, but I just keep thinking about it, because even when we have close connections to people, it can bring great relationships, and doesn't have to be sexualized. I've been a single person most of my life, and I have found it different when I'm around a lot of people that are married in relationships. Either the women get jealous, or, you know, men hit on me, and it's like, dang, like, can't we be just cool? And like, if we have deep conversations, because we're like connecting on a level, but not always has to go for that sexual thing or that misplaced insecure self-worth issue. Because if we really look at it, isn't it what we do? Like, because if we look inward, like, we feel attracted to somebody because we have a connection, when it's just that. It's just a moment in time. Just a moment in time. And I'm not saying it can't lead to this or that, but where do you find yourself being led to? Being stuck and attached to that moment and then maybe obsessing over that person? Or, oh shoot, that was a great time. Oh, cool. There is great people in this world that are happy and go lucky. Oh, I'm going to be inspired. You get what I mean? Because I've been on both, like, I'll admit it, like, oh my God, like, I didn't know my worth, and when someone gave me attention, it felt good. But also in a relationship, like, I know for me, if I was to commit to somebody, I was committed, but I was always finding myself insecure of the person I was with talking to other people. It wasn't necessarily me doing that, but obviously there were those thoughts because that had happened. I hadn't healed it. But do you ever look at that? Like, first see if you're insecure in a relationship, what it's reflecting with you and like what energy you're giving. And maybe you're getting someone in the same relationship that connects to other people too. Or maybe you just push people away because you're so freaking insecure, or not, like, cause I feel like I've kind of like, whoa, rode the wave of all those, because even that last relationship I had, I was open and vulnerable. I was like, no, I want someone to accept me for me. I love to talk to people. What I'm going for is going to be talking to people. I work around people. Like, I love to talk to people and be inspired. A teacher student all the time. And it's not looking for somebody to make me feel good about myself. And it's not that. It's just who I am. Like, I know that now. Like, I just like to talk. But I also am honest with myself. And if I would commit to somebody in that sense of a relationship, like, for me, I would be honest with communication. Like, if there was something missing, I mean, stuff does happen where maybe, you're not getting that communication in that relationship because both y'all aren't working, and then you do that. Like, there's so many aspects to it, but short and sweet. Do you feel like when you are in a relationship, are you insecure the other person talking to someone? Or do you find your mind looking and thinking about being with other people because they made you feel good? And then what does that say about you? What does that say about your healing? And what does that say about your self-worth? Do you get me? So much fun.